Welcome to Real Genius. I am Chris Vognar, culture critic of the Dallas Morning News.
And I'm Robert Wilonsky, the director of the Blues Brothers.
That's John Landis.
Oh, right.
That was last week. This
That's
week,
right.
It's art. It is an art film called The Clouds of Sils
Boy, when you go for
Maria.
art films, you go for art films.
I think it's a damn good art film, actually. I think this is
That's
a
great.
really strong film.
Because film critics always hate movies about the movies.
Not always, but,
I'm being facetious.
but I know you
I'm
are.
being very facetious.
I know you are. It's about theater as much as the movies.
It
actually.
is. It's about art,
Yes.
really, is what it's about.
It's about two women.
It's personalization of art.
It's about 2 hours long. It's about a veteran stage and screen actress played by the great Juliette Binoche, and her.
So far, you're right.
And her personal assistant, Kristen Stewart,
Well done.
who's also very, very good. And it's
And the young ingenue who comes into their lives,
Chloe Grace Moretz.
also well done.
Yes. So that's it. Thanks for coming
My
back.
work
next
is
week.
done here today.
So I'm getting the vibe that you did not fully embrace the Clouds of Sils Maria.
I thought it was all right. I mean, it's a movie about art and aging,
Death.
and women, and film, and theater, and transcendence, and mentors, and metaphors, and death, and rebirth. Man, it's
Creativity.
it is the world's longest metaphor. That movie is just a giant. Nobody does anything in that movie that doesn't have 14 different metaphoric reasons
It's an
for
art
happening.
film.
It is. I don't disagree.
In the finest tradition.
It's deep, it's profound, it's meaningful, it's moving, it is an experience not to be missed.
You
It
say
is
these things like they're bad.
I'm just recounting my emotions and the emotional state in which I experience them.
Let's take a look at a scene from Clouds of Sils Maria with Juliette Binoche and Kristen Stewart.
Who's great, by the way.
Well, I didn't know you at 18, but I'm almost positive Joanne's a lot worse.
How can you be so sure?
Have you Googled her?
Well, I just looked at the pictures.
Well, you should dig a little deeper. Won't take you long to find all the naked photos, the latest updates on her exploits.
Such as?
Her breakup? Andrew Beltram? Any idea who that is?
I don't know.
What world do you live in? He's the biggest star.
Says who?
Preteens? Oh, hey, there are them, so be careful.
There's a couple of things I really like about this movie. One is that it's got this whole art and life thing going on. The play that Juliette Binoche is going to do is a play she's done years before, except now she's going to play the older woman who is in love with a younger woman. The actual movie has an older woman and a younger woman, but it's not asking us to follow these two things and connect them lockstep. I think it allows all of this to breathe very organically on its own, and I give it a lot of credit for that. I also think it's a really smart look at what it's like to be of a certain age in that industry and in Hollywood, and trying to maintain your artistry and some integrity in the face of what we're about to have to deal with headlong, summer movie season.
Right.
And blockbusters. There's this sort of X-Men movie that...
She's in an X-Men
yeah.
movie. Juliette Binoche's character doesn't want to do another movie, she
Right.
says at the beginning, in which she's on wires in front of a green screen.
And then Chloe Moretz is in a sort of X-Men-y kind of thing, so...
Which is funny, given that she actually is the star of Kick-Ass.
Yes, there you go. So there's just a lot, you're right, it is very metaphorical, but I think there's a lot packed into all of this quiet. I think there's a lot of meaning packed into not all that much explicit action, and I think that's what art films do.
I don't disagree. My problem is, and look, this is all on me.
It's all your fault, man.
This has nothing to do with you, with this film, with the filmmaker, a tremendous filmmaker.
Olivier Assayas.
Olivier Assayas.
Who did Carlos.
Right, which is great.
And
which is
Something
great.
in the Air. which is
Carlos is
fantastic.
fantastic.
It is.
And Juliette Binoche, who's a treasure. Kristen Stewart, who is a revelation. Although I have to say, you can't say that, wow, she can act, because we've seen her act in a lot of films.
You want to hear my quick Kristen Stewart
impression?
theory?
Do you an impression?
No, I'm
Damn
sorry,
it.
I can't.
I want to hear an
I
impression.
can't do that.
I love her in Adventureland.
There's so many people that reflexively hate on Twilight and the Twilight movies, which I can understand, and they throw her into that
Right.
hate, that whole thing, without
And her-
recognizing that she was in fact a good actress before Twilight, that she's still a young actress and that we're watching her continue to get better with each film.
I'm a huge fan of hers, except I don't like the Twilight movies. But I don't hold those against her.
She did well with those movies.
But I hold this against me. So this is a film essentially about, in a lot of ways, about how Hollywood treats, or how the entertainment industry treats women, as you say, of a certain age. To me, and this is just where I am at this moment in my life, and yeah, it comes from writing a million things a day that are this long or this long, but and not being able to, you talk about this movie takes a lot of time to breathe. Man, I don't know what that's like anymore. So when I go to watch critical or cutting commentary about Hollywood and women, to me, Amy Schumer's sketch with Tina Fey, Last Effable Day, that is, to me, that's where I'm at this moment.
You're listening to live coverage of Robert Wilonsky's midlife crisis here.
No,
on
I just think that did it just the same thing, just so much better, so much faster, and so much deeper, and so much harder. I mean, it really it was just this cutting and thoughtful and brilliant piece of work that Schumer did. I wish I had queued it up to show it here because it takes a couple of minutes to watch. And it deals with a lot of the same things. That it's just an industry that doesn't know what to do with women of a certain age.
So I guess that's part of what's going on here. I just think there's a lot else going on
There
here
is, but
as well.
There are a lot of things. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And at some point, you really gotta, if you walk out for like 3 minutes, as I may or may not have done, you're like, oh, who's that? Why is she doing this? Who's playing who and why?
It demands your attention.
It demands your
every
attention.
second of your attention, but I think it rewards that.
And if I may
well.
say, I think you enjoy it because you're at these days far more sober than I am. I think that may have something to do with it as well.
So you're getting hammered while you're watching
Clouds of
Clouds of Sils
Sils
Maria.
If you have a couple of drinks while watching,
This movie's weird.
there's a certain point where you're going, man, didn't Birdman just do this same thing? By the way, I think Birdman's a much better version of this movie too.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm not a huge
But you don't like Birdman.
fan.
So you don't
no.
like, so
See, I thought Birdman.
This is your Birdman.
I thought Birdman was a movie that really tried hard to be an art film, whereas I think this just wears that like a loose jacket because it knows exactly what it is.
Sure, this wears its art film credentials like flip-flops.
Yes.
There you go.
Like Crocs.
As opposed to Michael Keaton wearing them like a pair of Doc Martens.
Like a tight bird suit.
There you go. Well, see, but I think they would do well on a double bill together.
Birdman, Clouds of Sils Maria.
I think
Man,
so.
that would be, my head would just be bouncing in pain.
Meanwhile, I'm just going to go watch The Last Effable Day
There you
over and
go.
over again.
That is Clouds of Sils Maria. I say go see it. Look for my review.
Oh, you should see it.
Look for my review on DallasNews.com or Guide
It's
Live.
probably right beneath us as you're watching this. Now
.com.
you can read it while you're watching it.
It's a very
Right
good
here.
film. But seriously, Kristen Stewart, really, really good actress, and it's time to recognize.
And next week we're doing another art film,
The Avengers,
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
So I'm really looking forward to that thoughtful, cutting commentary on how Hollywood treats women of a certain age.
Another very quiet film.
A lot of breathing that goes on in that
a lot of
film.
quiet, empty, pregnant pauses in the new Avengers movie.
That's right, I can't
Right
wait.
here. We'll see you then.